Welcome back to the OTC podcast. I'm your host, T. Roon Verma.
And I'm Janu Chabla.
All right, JC. So we're doing an article from one of my favorite websites, the Elite Daily.
Of course.
That's kind of what our podcast is, aka the Elite Daily podcast. They should just throw money at us to do this.
They should sponsor us.
They should sponsor
Holla
us.
at us.
Holla at us at Elite Daily. So this article is awesome, especially not only because it has a really cool picture of Leonardo DiCaprio from The Wolf of Wall Street on it, but it's called The 5 Traits Wildly Successful People Share That Separate Them from the Crowd.
Ooh.
Nice little bit. So first one, chase the school bus. And they're talking about Sugar Ray Leonard, who used to, let's see here, he would always tighten up his sneakers and run behind the school bus to train.
Uh-huh.
And really the big gist of it is that our generation is used to instant gratification, and Sugar Ray Leonard demonstrated the necessity of being able to buckle down for the long haul and accept that you won't see any return on investment for years. Now this is a big one, obviously.
Yeah.
You're gonna do a startup, whatever. It's gonna take time. You're not gonna blow up in 6 months.
Yeah.
Facebook didn't blow up in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter didn't blow up in 6 months, and those are outlier cases, right? So however long it took for those companies to see success, multiply that by like 5, maybe even 10. Then you get other companies. You know?
Yeah.
It didn't take that long.
It's kind of like he's saying you have to become success. So don't expect it to be something that's just going to happen to you. It's a process. It's a personality and life shaping process. And every day it's trial and error, and you're going to have to work just as hard and chase the school bus, I guess, until you embody, that success or that perfection, and you learn what it is you need to learn in order to attain that level of success. That's what I kind of interpret it as.
It's also, and they talked about it here, irrational commitment leads to irrational success, right? Mm-hmm. So, we like to use these big companies as an example. Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of Ivy League schools, chased after something that most people, even probably us, if we were right there, probably considered it stupid. But an irrational commitment to it led to such a huge success.
That's true, yeah. In order to do something, to attain something you've never had before, you have to do things that you never thought you needed to do or something. There's like a quote like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting, to sometimes chase this big dream. Maybe like what you do every day doesn't make sense and doesn't follow a certain path. Like it's irrational to others. But maybe that's what will lead you to be, more successful than others that are following a formula around you.
Yeah, a few months ago I was in Dallas and I ended up attending a fashion show where Lisa Ray was there. And I remember sneaking and then just had like a nice 20-minute convo with her. The only thing that really stuck with me was she said that to be in this kind of business, in the entertainment business or whatever, she goes, any kind of dream you have to be a little crazy. And she goes, not a little crazy. You got to be pretty crazy to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She goes, that's the big thing. These filmmakers, these actors, the people that really want it, you also have to be a little crazy.
Yeah, to chase after something.
After something so ridiculous. Yeah. And that always stuck with me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, am I crazy enough?
Yeah.
I don't know. I always ask myself that. Every time we do this kind of stuff, I'm like, am I crazy enough?
You're definitely crazy enough.
I'm crazy enough?
You're cray-cray.
Then I'm going to get it. Second one, stray from the pack, right? So this one says, if you do what everyone else does, you're going to end up like everybody else, right? Follow the unbeaten path. I remember, I actually just saw something Mark Cuban said last week where he goes, if people tell me that I should be doing this like this, it makes me not want to do it that much more and do it a different way.
Yeah.
Because he's like, if they're already doing it that way, it already works. And that means it's already like the profit margin's already low for it.
Yeah.
So he's like, I want to do something really weird, something way out there so that I'm hitting the big gamble.
Yeah.
And that's always an interesting thing to do too.
You want to do something that others aren't doing because then you could really come upon that gold mine or that different way. I mean, look at Apple, right? That's their story.
That's true. That's very true. So they also quoted Tim Ferriss, who's the best-selling author of The 4-Hour Work. And they quoted him saying, everybody follow those rules. I realized that I was inviting disaster and financial ruins if I risked my cash flow that way by following standard protocol. So I insisted on prepayment. He has a sports nutrition company. So you prepay for your products.
Uh-huh.
They'd never done that at this time when
Yeah.
he started it up. He goes, nobody has ever done prepayment. I think that's one of the reasons why my sports nutrition company succeeded where a lot of other startups of that type failed. So do it a different way. A lot of people say, well, this is how it's done. Why don't you do it that way too?
There you go.
That's it.
A winning idea sometimes can be something that other people have not done.
That's true. So next one, create cork boards. This one's interesting. And this is a quote by Peter Guber, former CEO of Sony Pictures Entertainment. It became a tool that people allowed to recognize that I was willing to do things differently. It shined a light on me. It gave me more currency to make more daring choices. So if you're known as the guy that's doing the weird shit, it puts a different light on you, right?
Like corkboard as in like a visual of things you want to do?
Being the guy that does everything with a different plan, right? Problem solving. Your problem solving skills are different.
Okay.
So they talked about how this guy became the... they said in his mid-20s he was a new hire at Columbia Pictures. And he realized that the way the studio heads were electing directors was archaic. He devised a new way of doing it. And this caught him on the board. Again, you're a new hire. You're this new kid in a massive company. How do you get the light on you? That's always a big thing. I think a lot of new grads have that thing where they get out and they're like, I want to be super successful. I want to be like famous in my company. How do you do that? You got to get yourself out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you got to show people you're just not another number.
Yeah.
So that's a big
on the
thing
daily
there.
grind in a corporate setting, you have to like be the one who volunteers for the difficult projects, be the one who stands out, will do the things that other people aren't willing to do, and speaks up when other people aren't, because that's the only way you stand out from the pack. And it's not something that's like, oh, it's optional, or maybe, if I don't feel like it, I don't have to. No. If you want to be like successful and you want to move up in the corporate world or in life, you have to be the one that makes the noise. The noisemakers are the ones that get the opportunities time and time again. Yeah.
This next one's crazy. I don't feel like I could ever do it. I think you're gonna call poppycock on it too. It's called get on the key time. Kai time. It's QI.
Okay.
So I'm not racist because I don't know how to say it because it's an Asian thing. So there's this guy, president of online services at Microsoft. His name is QI Lu. Kilu, Kai Lu.
Sorry.
Mr. Lu. We're gonna call this fool Mr. Lu. Oh, pronounced Kilu.
There you
They
go.
actually put it in parentheses because they knew white people would be reading this.
Daily knows phonetics, man.
So here's this quote that helped him develop this thing called key time. Okay, during college, the amount of time I spent sleeping really started to bother me. There are so many books I can read, or so many things to learn. It felt like for humans, 20% of our time is wasted during sleep in the sense that you're not putting that time towards a purpose you care about. Check this out. This is where it gets crazier. Although admitting it wasn't easy, Lou engineered his body to function on 4 hours of sleep a night thanks to an unusual regimen that ranged from timed cold showers and daily 3-mile runs.
What?
Driven by an unusual hunger to do more, his sleeping schedule added an extra day's worth of work time per week, which aggregates to nearly 2 months of productivity every year.
What?
Holy shit. I love to sleep.
4 hours?
I feel like that is a crime to sleep.
Whatever. He definitely had like caffeine running through his veins.
And Adderall and cocaine and who knows what else. Cold showers. So this guy didn't have a boner. He slept very little and ran a lot.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster in college.
I think he was celibate. I think that was his key. So I'm a little bit weirded out by that dude. The next one is pretty cool. Now this one I can get behind. Play the Spielberg game. Let's see here. Spielberg reduced the time he spent at college and increased the time he spent hanging with the Hollywood inner circle. This is one we all know. The bottom line is networking.
They say you're only as successful as the average of 5 of your closest friends.
Do you know how many times you've told me that this year? No less than 15. It's true. It is very, very true.
I mean, they say, there's this one struggling actor that I was watching an interview on, and he's like, I was a theater actor, and I used to hang out with other theater actors who were all trying to break into film, and they all used to sit around and say, man, we've been struggling actors for 10 years. And he's like, I had just started in the game, and he's like, I had a flash forward right then and there, prophecy, if you will, that if I hang out with these people continuously, in 10 years I'll be just like them and I'll be saying the same thing. Man, I've been struggling for 10 years. So he's like, I changed my group of friends. I started pushing myself to network and hang out with those who are at that level of success that I want. And now he's like one of the most, successful actors of his time.
Yeah.
It's true.
And the quote here is Spielberg arranged his class schedule so he could spend 3 days a week at Universal watching filmmakers at work and trying to make useful contacts. And this is a quote from Joseph McBride, who wrote the biography on Spielberg's career. He also said that he frequently slept overnight in an office at the studio where he kept 2 suits so he could emerge onto the lot each morning looking as if he hadn't slept in an office. Looks are everything.
Yeah.
He slept. He slept just fine. I bet you slept more than 4 hours.
Yeah.
But he woke up and he made sure he put on like a dingy suit to make it look like he was in it all night.
Yeah.
So everyone got the perception that this dude works really hard.
Yeah.
Smart.
That is. You
fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it is the name of the game. You gotta you really have to, if you have a goal, you want to be in a certain industry or a certain job, or you want to be at this certain level, you have to immerse yourself in that, and your life has to kind of become all about that. It's these people that appear to be overnight billionaires or success stories. It's really not overnight. It's usually years of toiling and being focused on that one goal. Nothing just happens by chance. I mean, I think a lot of opportunity takes you to places because you're prepared for that opportunity when it comes by. That's what I think luck is. It's how prepared were you when that opportunity came by? How much have you been obsessing over this one goal? So I agree with that. That's crazy.
So all the little examples we had, they're pretty much wrapping up is really saying that success is something that truly manifests itself once you make a deliberate mindset shift to tell yourself it's go time. Because really when you hit go time, you are willing to do whatever it takes to get there.
No excuses.
An irrational commitment leads to irrational success. I love that quote from here.
I do.
I love it. It's awesome.
Makes you think stop overanalyzing and being all about staying within the box or what are other people doing. Just do what you feel needs to get done to get to that goal, and eventually you will probably attain it because that's all you're focused on.
It's true. That's very true. I dig it. I really dig it. It was a great article. And all right, well, that's all the time we have on the OTC podcast this week. We will see you guys.